Chapter 37 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. Liu Shaosong died suddenly from a medicine overdose. It happened too suddenly. At noon, Liu Shaosong was still in high spirits, with matchless energy, feeling as though he could lift up a mountain. In the evening, blood came gushing from all 7 apertures of his head. He lost control over his bladder and rectum. He died in Qindai Pavilion. Liang Shi couldn't take such a blow. Upon hearing the news, she lost consciousness. Nanan Hao only went to Qindai Pavilion to take a look, after which he then stumbled to the Liu family's ancestral hall. In the end, Liu Xiaosong's funeral was actually handled by Pan Shi. Pan Shi had already been preparing for a funeral, but she had been preparing it for Lu Wancheng. No one could have imagined that Liu Xiaosong would actually walk in front of Lu Wancheng and that it would be such a tragic way to die too. Naturally, she couldn't use the things she'd prepared for Lu Wancheng, so Pan Shi had to have people purchase the supplies at the last minute. They had to make do with what was available for a lot of things. They were mourning, flags hung in the Nananhao mansion, paper money wafted in the wind. Liu Xiaosong's coffin was placed in the main hall. Liang Shi, dressed in plain white mourning clothes, knelt down in front of the coffin. Her eyes, though, were empty, her expression numb. Her tears seemed to have dried up. Although Liu Xiaosong died disgracefully, he was, after all, the son of the official wife. During his life, he had created a wide network of contacts. He had everything going his way. A lot of people came to offer their condolences. Among them was an unfamiliar man who claimed to be an eunuch of the Eastern Palace, who came to kowtow to the third young master in place of the side concubine. Finally, Liang Shi's face showed some reaction. She asked in a hoarse voice, "The side concubine, is she doing well?" The man showed signs of hesitation. Under repeated questioning from Liang Shi, he told her that Lu Niandao had been confined in the cold palace by the crown prince. Liang Shi was stunned for a long time. Her eyes fell on Lin Qingyu and she suddenly shrieked, her whole body quivering all over. She pointed at Lin Qingyu's face and said, hysterically, "Evil monster! The Nanan House mansion married a monster into the family." Lin Qingyu said indifferently, "Madam must be joking. At the beginning, wasn't it you who said that I'm the mansion's lucky star?" Liang Shi's eyes widened. As if someone was strangling her throat, she kept spouting weird nonsensical words. Liang Shi went completely insane. The doctor said that she was suffering from hysteria and that she will probably never be able to recover. Nanan Hao suffered one blow after another. He was exhausted, both mentally and physically. He took to his bed and remained there. He no longer had the energy to look after the family's affairs, so he simply let the servants look after his wife, warning them against letting her run out and making a spectacle of herself. All other things were left to Pan Shi to take care of. Lu Wancheng's body improved a little during Liu Xiaosong's funeral. However, it meant only that he was awake a little more and that he was able to speak for a while. After learning of Liu Xiaosong's sudden death, Liang Shi insanity and Nanan Hao's bedridden condition, Lu Wancheng wasn't the least bit surprised. Instead, he looked at Lin Qingyu in admiration and said, "Qingyu, you seem to have become even more good looking." He says he looks good when he's doing bad things. Wow. He knows and he supports. That's nice. It was like a long, dormant, highly poisonous flower finally blooming, frighteningly beautiful. With just one look, it sent a person's soul astir. Lynching, you looked down at his clean and flawless hands, with a bit of accusation in his tone. You made me like this. Lu Wancheng laughed softly and said, This is my honor. The sound of a Suana horn came from outside. It was the person from the Shaanxi sending Li Xiaosong of the western pure land of ultimate bliss. The two were silent for a while, then Lu Wancheng suddenly asked, Qingyu, where do you think Lu Xiaosong will go? When a person dies, naturally there is nothing left. Where else can they go? Then, do you know how I got here? Lin Qingyu was startled and said, You have never told me. How would I know? One day, as I was heading home from school, I rescued a pregnant woman on the road but lost my own life. Lu Wancheng sighed. I'm really a good person. Aww, he saved somebody and lost his own life. He was just a school student. Aww, he's such a good guy. Lin Qingyu's eyes went wide. You mean you died once? Lu Wancheng nodded. A car fully loaded with cargo ran over me. Don't mention it though. It was quite painful. Lu Wancheng smiled. They say retribution is paid out in kind. I saved two people, so doesn't that mean that I'm entitled to live twice? Shu Junyuan performed a divination for me. He said, I may not be destined to die yet. Lin Qingyu suddenly stood up and blurted out, How could that be possible? Lu Wancheng could no longer pretend to be relaxed and said in a stern tone, It's possible. When I die, I might really die and be reduced to nothing. Even if I'm lucky enough to reawaken, it may not be here in the Dayu, or it might not even be here in this world. Do you understand? Lin Qingyu stared blankly at Lu Wancheng. After a long time, he asked, How sure are you about this? Lu Wancheng was silent for a long time and said softly, I don't know. Lin Qingyu tried his best to restrain his emotions. Then, what is this for? Lu Wancheng seemed to have expected this reaction. He said, voice sinking, I'm sorry. I hesitated for a long time, and in the end, I thought that I should still tell you. Why tell me something you're not sure about? Lin Qingyu couldn't bear it any longer. He was ready to lose Lu Wancheng forever, but Lu Wancheng told him that he may still have a chance. What did Lu Wancheng want him to do? Do nothing at all? Thinking about whether he died or not, waiting for an answer that he wasn't even sure would come? If in the end it was simply a possibility, he would rather not have this possibility. Wait for me for a year, Lu Wancheng said. He then wondered if a year would be too long. He and Lin Qingyu had only known each other for a year. For what reason would he ask him to wait for him for a year? It doesn't need to be a year. Half a year. No, 100 days is enough. Lu Wancheng said urgently, for fear that his request would be rejected for being too excessive. If I don't come to you, within 100 days, just treat me as having died. We can agree on a secret signal. If I don't die and transmigrate to someone else's body, we will use this signal to recognize each other, okay? Lin Chingyu's mouth was twisted. His state of mind was thrown into confusion. He gritted his teeth and said, Lu Wancheng, you bastard. Lu Wancheng forced a smile on his face. Other beauties would at most call their husbands a jerk, but Dr. Lin is better. He uses bastard from the get go, truly worthy of being my wife. Get lost! Lu Wancheng teased. I can't get lost, Chingyu. My legs are broken. Lu Wancheng had not only lost his legs, none of his internal organs were intact as well. He would take poison every day, dazed with pain. He could only call out his name. Lin Chinggyu closed his eyes. Tell me. Lu Wancheng was taken aback. Tell you what? The signal. Lu Wancheng smiled slowly. Let me think about it. The signal needs to be catchy, easy to remember, one that no one else would know. After some deliberation, Lu Wancheng said, Then, if R change, if even remain the same, for the symbol, look to the quadrant. Lin Chinggyu said coldly, What in heaven's name is this? Can't you say something that I can understand? If there is anything you don't understand, you can ask. I will explain it to you. Lin Chinggyu asked him, What you said just now, what does it mean? What does the word Lao Po mean? What does sexuality mean? Lu Wancheng automatically ignored the last two questions and said, This starts with the basic theorem of trigonometric functions. He's teaching him math. Lu Wancheng was in the middle of talking with gusto when his brows suddenly wrinkled and he bit his lips. This was a sign that his poison breaking out. Lin Chinggyu said, I will go get the needles. Giving Lu Wancheng acupuncture could reduce his pain a little. It was a drop in the bucket, but it was better than nothing. Lu Wancheng grabbed him. He shook his head and said, No need, just stay with me. Lin Chinggyu sat down beside the bed and let Lu Wancheng lie in his arms. Lu Wancheng futilely opened his eyes wide. He stared straight ahead, his fingers gripping Lin Chingyu's arm tightly. He asked him with a smile, Chingyu, the signal, do you remember it clearly? Lin Chinggyu covered his eyes with his hand. I remember it clearly. You really only need to wait 100 days. Lu Wancheng closed his eyes beneath Lin Chingyu's palm. Don't wait too long. I will feel distressed. I'm so pained. Like, gosh, I feel so sad, like, for Lu Wancheng. Even my heart, is hurting. Like, it throbs with pain. Gosh. How many more chapters till we are out of the angst? I remember it will take at least a while. After the beginning of winter, it was the time of lesser snow. This year's snow was a lot later than usual. The sky was always gloomy. It seemed that even heaven wasn't sure whether it would snow or not. Lu Wancheng spent less and less time awake, and whenever he was, it was because of pain from the poison. In the past, he could sit in a wheelchair and go to the yard to bask in the sun. But now he couldn't even sit up. Save for the bed, he couldn't go anywhere. At the end of the month, Lin Chingyu returned to the Lin residence to celebrate Mother Lin's 40th birthday. Seeing that he had come back alone, Mother Lin knew that Lu Wancheng's situation was not optimistic. She was afraid that her eldest son would be uncomfortable, so she didn't ask much. But Lin Chinghe asked why Wang Chengge didn't come with him. Lin Chingyu rubbed his head and said that Wang Chengge would come next time. Mother Lin preferred the quiet over the bustle and excitement. In addition, her husband was away. So, she simply made some dishes that her sons liked and spent her birthday quietly with her children. She looked at the cloudy sky outside the window and said, "When the snow falls, it will be time for your father to return home." Lin Chingyu didn't dare to be away from the Hao mansion for too long. After having lunch with Mother Lin, he returned to the Hao mansion. Back at the Blue Wind Pavilion, Lin Chingyu saw Hualu humming a little song in the yard, watering the withered osmanthus tree. He asked, "Why are you so happy?" Ever since Lu Wancheng vomited blood, the entire Blue Wind Pavilion had been bleak and gloomy. He hasn't seen Hualu looking so pleased in a long time. Hualu happily said, "Young Master Hao just woke up. He's in a good mood today. He managed to sit up by himself, drank half a bowl of porridge in one go. He even had me change him into red festive clothes. Shaojun, do you think the young master is getting better?" Lin Chingyu was stunned for a moment, and then his heart suddenly sank. I mean, you guys know, right? The last flame, the energy somebody will have before they, finally go to a different realm. Oh my gosh. Brace yourself for the next episode.